You know, it just seems to me, no matter where you look in the paper today, and no matter what you see on television, there's a financial crisis someplace. You know, the federal government's in trouble. Brooks Patterson says we're in trouble. The governor says we're in trouble. Everyone says we're in trouble. But I don't see much about our township. But I understand there is a serious problem. So we're gathered today to kind of chew this over a little bit and just see what's going on. There's not much in the paper, but for you and me, it's very important. Dave, we know you as our supervisor, but tell us what's happening from a financial standpoint here in our township.
Well, Tom, for the last year or so, the Board of Trustees and senior staff at the township has been looking at what's been going on with property values, the decline of property values, and obviously property values are very important to the township because it's where we derive our revenues from. And with those declines, it is going to affect our ability to continue to provide the exemplary services that we have in the past. So just like, as you said, the federal government, state, county government, Bloomfield Township is facing a financial crisis also. And so we spent the last year looking very carefully at that and trying to plan for the future so that we can, get through the crisis and continue to be a very desirable community in which to live. And, obviously from our perspective, we'd like to see property values maintained. We recognize that it's one of people's...
They're slipping.
Yeah, it's people's biggest investment for the most part, and so we need to stop it.
You know, we have one of our trustees with us. In fact, we're in his home filming this today. Leo Savoie is a trustee. Leo, what about the real estate values? What's really happening? You're in the field.
Well, if you stop and look at it, we probably peaked out at about 2005 in terms of values. I did a quick study just prior to coming over here, and between April 15th of 2007 versus April 15th of 2008 to 2009, prices fell in the township about 25%. If we just go in the last year, prices fell about 16.5%. So the bulk of what has happened in the last 12 months. And based on what I'm seeing out there, it really has happened in the last 8 or 9 months with everything that you see going on TV.
Well, how does that affect me? Does that mean if my house was worth $300,000, it's conceivable that it's only worth, say, $225,000 or $250,000 today?
Probably is, and if you had to sell it, if you had to move out, it might be even worth less than that.
Well, how does that affect the township?
Well, the biggest way is everything that the township derives in terms of money to supply the services all come from property taxes, and property taxes are based off of the values of the home, both the state equalized value and, more importantly, the taxable value.
Well, Dave, an obvious question is, why don't you just raise the taxes? It'd be simple to do that. If the value is going down, just say everybody's got to pay a little extra. Can't you do that?
Well, we can't do that without a vote of the people, obviously. All of our millages are dedicated millages. People have voted in the past for public safety millages, for millage to take care of roads, for safety path millages and things of that nature. So those are all dedicated millages, and it would basically require a vote of the people to raise those millages.
So obviously, if the value is going down, the tax revenue is going down, your expenses are going up?
Well, typically in the past, we've tried to hold our expenses, and we've done a very good job of that, capping them probably about 3%, trying to keep it with the rate of inflation in the past. Obviously, in the future, we can't continue to do that if our revenues are declining, and we're projecting revenues to decline by about 20%. So
just like Leo was telling me,
yeah,
for the house.
Right.
So revenues go in tandem with house values and the tax collected.
Correct.
So what are we going to do about that?
We've taken a lot of steps over the last year, and even before that, to try to control costs. For example, 80% of our costs in the township go towards personnel cost. I mean, that's how we deliver services. Police, firemen, public works, all the essential services of the township, it takes people to provide those services. So through our contract negotiations, we've made great strides to change healthcare so that we reduce our costs there. We've also made major changes to our pension program. Rather than having a defined benefit program anymore, for new hires we have a defined contribution. So in terms of legacy costs for the township, we've made great strides to reduce those in the future.
Wait. What's that word, legacy costs? What's that mean?
Well, those are the costs that are going to be incurred by the township for years to come to, pay for pension programs and things of that nature. So, we've done all the things that, normal business people have done in the private sector, and we've not filled positions in the past year. So we're reducing our work staff through attrition. But the only way for us to meet that projected gap that we're going to have 20% less in revenues, which is $6 million out of a $40 million budget, is going to be for us to reduce staffing levels considerably over the next couple of years.
So there might be some layoffs?
Well, right now, our goal is to, obviously we put together kind of a financial strategic plan for the next 5 years, and our goal is by January 1st of 2010 to reduce staff by about 20 through attrition, through retirements, people leaving, things of that nature. And then beyond that, for the next fiscal year budget, by April of 2011, we're going to have to reduce it by another 25 people. Now, I don't think it's possible, we don't believe it's possible to do that all through attrition, so there may be layoffs coming.
Now, how many employees do you have, and how many have we added in the last few years? Quite a few?
We have about 270 employees right now. And we really haven't added any. I think since 1989 we've added a total of 9 people.
Wow.
And so that's not much. The police and fire are the same size as they were before. And when you consider how much technology has changed over those years, like back in 1989, there were computers on desktops, so you didn't have IT people and all the support that was necessary for that. So I think from '89 till 2009, only adding 9 people. That's
really
pretty good. That's really good. Yeah.
Leo, how does all this stack up with you? You are our elected representative. All the people here that live in homes have not only selected Mr. Payne as our supervisor. How do these things impact you as a trustee? How do you feel about making cuts and all of this?
Well, they impact us both as an elected official and as a resident. People move to this community because of the quality of services, the police, the fire, the roads, the water department, and they all contribute value. And they contribute value to your own homes as well. And when you start looking at the numbers and seeing how quickly it's going to happen, I called the assessor's office just to get some numbers today. And the taxable value, which people paid taxes on, in 2007 was about 20% less than the state equalized value, or what they thought the values of the property were worth. In 2008, that fell to 12.5%. In 2009, based on their latest studies, that fell to just under 5%.
Well, now, I had a chance to visit our library a little while ago, and I brought my roving reporter hat, and I asked people, I said, why do you like to live in Bloomfield Township? What makes it so nice, And I thought they would say, we like the weather, and we like the... I got a lot of great answers. Why don't we take a look at that for just a moment and see what those folks put as #1 qualities of our township.
Well, I think it's beautiful, and I love when I drive down Lone Pine Road, and the trees are just so beautiful, especially in the spring and the summer. I feel like I live in the country, even though I live in more of a metropolitan area.
I think we like it here because it's a quiet neighborhood, great schools, safe, and we like the atmosphere. We certainly love the library, the new library, so